Another thing I was scared of, and I'm not gonna lie, is failure. Welcome back. It is yours truly, Nick, of Movie AV Impulse, and I would like to start by saying thank you. Thank you for putting up with me taking a little bit of a hiatus. I am going to get into why I did that, what was going on, and I also wanted to introduce you to what I've been working on. Now, in the past couple of weeks, I have been slimming down my collection because there are just so many DVDs and movies that I just didn't watch. It has just been a wild 2 weeks. So I'm gonna put it to you like this. Where have I been? I've been spending a lot of time with my family. We had a recent health scare. Everything is fine now. I mean, we are back on top and it just is what it is. Sometimes you get life scares and things happen. And I am back to bring you another movie review. But before I do that, I just want to send a special shout out to Cody, dude who loves movies, because he turned me on to Dr. Pepper, strawberries and cream, and man, I love this shit. It's delicious. You know, like I said, I've been working on this. I had ordered my shelf, and I wanted to slim down the collection, like I said. So for me, it was, you know, am I really watching these movies? Yes, I love physical media, but I don't just want to be a collector just to say I have it. I slimmed it down to about maybe 800 movies. That's that. I'll show you a couple of B-rolls while I'm doing that. And also at the end of the video, I am going to ask you, every Sunday I'm going to ask you a question. And the question is, one of these movies has to go. Me and my buddy started playing this game. Both are truck drivers. We're both talking to each other all the time. And while we're on the road and I'm making deliveries and he's making deliveries, we often talk about what movies, like if you had to choose, what movies would have to go. And we always give each other two, and then we have to pick one. There's no exceptions. So I want to hear in the comments at the end of the video on the two movies that I'm going to pick out that are goddamn hard to choose. But every Sunday, I'm going to start doing that. And yes, I drew inspiration from Andrew Robertson. He does it at the end of all his videos on Sunday when he does reviews. And he asks the question of the day. So I'm going to start asking movie questions just to make it fun and more interactive, and, you know, gives you a chance to interact with me because I love the comments. I love answering the comments. And I want to know why you chose that one. So I just think it'll be really awesome to do, be something fun, and it'll give you a chance to look forward to my channel. Another thing I was scared of, and I'm not gonna lie, is failure. I took a little bit of a break because I wanted to really think about what direction I wanted to take this channel in, and I want to stay in my own lane. But, you know, we have other people that do the same things, but we all do it differently. And that's the greatest part about the YouTube community, is that there's thousands of us. There's great channels. There's Bin Buster, there's Ken, there's Hux, there's Tin Talk Talkies, there's Bob, there's Vinicio, there's Vin. I mean, there's so many great channels that do what I'm doing that I wanted to keep bringing you different type of content. I'm going to eliminate some things that I do on my channel and stick with the things that I love to do the most. One of them is going to be, I'm going to continue doing my top fives every Wednesday because I love to do that. It's fun, and there's thousands of categories and selections I can choose from. It doesn't have to be something specific. And one of the videos that I did for that was on, you know, movies that have great Dolby Atmos. And that video has gotten over 8,000 views. So it's something that a lot of people, not just movie lovers, but people who love surround sound, really got into. I'm also, even though it didn't hit as hard as I wanted it to, I'm going to stick around and keep my life lessons segment because I really love that. I get passionate when it comes to movies. So I will be doing that once a month, every month, dropping a video, on that segment, Life Lessons. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. I did my very first one on the Bronx Tale, and my next one will be on... So, that explains the hiatus on top of just putting this together. So, without any further ado, we are going to get into my movie review of Air Force One with Dolby Vision.
I'm staying. I'm finishing my coffee.
Air Force One. Let's talk about it. This has already been released on 4K Blu-ray. It only had HDR. So I believe it was Sony that put this out. They added Dolby Vision into it, and it already had a Dolby Atmos track. Let's get into this first. The Steelbook. The outside is absolutely awesome. I love the picture. I love the back. They got the whole, jet fighters and really showing everything off. I absolutely love it. I love the front of it. It's great. The spine, when they have the red lettering and the black spine, it is just great. What I don't like, and this is where I think studios really start to get lazy, and it really pisses me off. Now, to some people, this isn't a big deal, but to me it is, because you pay extra for a steelbook. So for me, I want something in that inside. And that was one of the things that really pissed me off about Men in Black. It's just blank. And guess what? And this is what I do with all my J cards. It's just blank. There's nothing. And yes, like I said, it is one of those things where it's like, oh, now you're just nitpicking. But I'm really not. When you go to show people, some people come over to my house and they want to see my, these steel books. And Reservoir Dogs is probably one of my favorite ones, to come out from Lionsgate. The beautiful slipcover. But, it's the simple artwork, especially on the back. It's just showing you a picture of the warehouse. But then you open it up and you get like this, great artwork on the inside. And it's so cool to show off. And I absolutely love that about steelbooks, is that they have these cool artwork on the inside. And another example that I want to show you, which is real simple, but it's great, is The Sadness. If you haven't seen this movie, you are really missing out. Like, my God, get on it. And, it's a beautiful steelbook. This was the very first movie I ever reviewed on my channel. It was absolutely terrible. I had no clue what I was doing, but it did get a lot of views for me being a beginner, and I absolutely love this one. And it's the same thing. When you open up the inside, it has a little bit of artwork. It's something good, and it's like really cool to show off, especially that like metallic look. It's just awesome. So, that's my only downfall with the steelbook. Another thing, I didn't mention this in the beginning, but I'm going to do the giveaway for that Air Force One digital copy. So if you want that digital copy, first come, first serve. So if you don't have it and you want it, there it is. You have a lot of people that give away their digital copies. Sometimes I keep them, sometimes I don't. Anyways, back to Air Force One. The Dolby Vision on this movie is great. The shadow detail, I think, brought out a lot more. And to me, if you're a Dolby Vision lover like I am, which if you follow my channel, if you subscribe to it, and you know it, I love Dolby Vision. And a lot of people will ask me why. Well, for me, Dolby Vision really brings out the darks. Movies were meant to be watched. It's a cinematic experience. Why I love Dolby Vision is just that reason. It brings out more of the grayscale. They don't let you go into the settings and mess with the gamma to change the color on their skin tones. And the skin tones in this movie are mwah. Bar none. Is it worth it? Yes. Is it worth getting the steelbook? Yes, if you don't want that plain artwork. But if your TV does not have Dolby Vision, there's no reason to get and rush out and get it and just have two copies of it. So another thing that I do think this movie does have one issue. Now it takes place on an airplane. Glenn Close is the vice president, and Harrison Ford plays the president, and basically Russian infidels, if you want to call them that, are, basically they get on the plane, take it over, and they get on Air Force One, hence the name of the movie, Air Force One. The one thing I did notice with the Dolby Atmos, when the planes are in the air taking off, you get a phenomenal thrust. When they're engaging the thrust, you feel that rumble. And when they're taking off and the plane is basically taking off of the landing strip, you will literally hear your ceiling speakers come to life. It is gorgeous. Like the sound, you don't understand. I get so excited with Dolby Atmos because it just enhances the movie experience. And the great part about it is, once these Russians take over the plane, they end up, sending out fighter jets to basically follow Air Force One and make sure that nothing's going to happen to it, because they got to protect the president at all costs. And this is where Glenn Close comes in as the vice president, because she has to make the final call on what they're going to do, what's going to happen, are they going to refuel the plane, So it's great. The only thing that I feel like 4K really ruined this movie, and it didn't hold out in today's standards. But like I said, when I watch a movie, I put myself in that time period, in that realm, because if you don't, you will literally judge every movie that comes out and you'll instantly label it garbage, because in this one, CGI, it just doesn't hold up. Is it still a great movie? Absolutely. When they're parachuting out of the plane and they're escaping, the CGI is just not up to par. I mean, it is really, really bad. And then especially towards the ending, now spoiler alert, if you've never seen the ending, if you've never seen this movie, look, this is a spoiler alert and I'm going to give it to you right now. When Air Force One crashes into the water, the CGI is so bad to the point where I had to pause it for a second and kind of like reset my brain to say, okay, we're in a different time period. You have to not look at it as in like today's standards. And I mean, even some of the Marvel movies, they're slipping on their CGI because all they care about is the dollar bill. But this just does not hold out. And I think a lot of that has to do with the 4K transfer, because that's another bad thing about 4K, is that it can really bring out the ugly in a lot of these movies. That's probably like one of my cons. Will I watch this movie again? Absolutely. But it's just one of those things where you're gonna have to tolerate the horrible CGI. But other than that, the Dolby Vision transfer, totally worth it. If you are into it like I am, especially when it comes to, I don't like my blacks to be all mixed together and bleh and all that. They have to be like separated. I want to see the lapels on a suit. I want to see the cufflinks. And that's where having a good HDR picture also comes in handy, because HDR, if you have the right TV, that specular highlight of those cufflinks, let's say they're silver, will really twinkle right on that screen. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the review. I know it was everywhere, and I just kind of wanted to briefly go over it because this already had a 4K release, but it was only with HDR10, and I think that the Dolby Vision really enhanced the dark levels on top of keeping those specular highlights just crispy, clean. And I think Dolby Vision just does a better job with cleaning it all up. but it just looks better. And I will argue that with anybody. When I watch a movie in HDR, because my Blu-ray player does both HDR10, HDR10 Plus, Dolby Vision, HLG, you know, all of it. That's why I spent the money I spent on my Panasonic. But when you look at it in a whole perspective, I would much rather watch Dolby Vision, because I feel like that is the true to form what the director wanted you to see, not all the oversaturated colors. But I thank you again. I thank you for all the support. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. My movie question of the day: out of these two movies, which one has to go? Which one has to stay? And that is going to be two Stephen King movies, Misery or Shawshank Redemption. And I'll tell you mine right now. As much as I love Kathy Bates, I gotta go with Shawshank Redemption. But let me know in them comments why and what movie you would choose. This is going to be a fun game. I'm doing this every Sunday. I will have the movies, like I said in the beginning. So join me. Get a part of this community. It's a great community. And I will have more top 5 coming on Wednesday. It's going to be on Forgotten. Just tune in. It's going to be on Forgotten Cartoons from a certain company that I loved watching the reruns, because I'm too goddamn young to actually see these on air. But stay tuned on Wednesday. See you then. And I hope you like the new background. I hope you like the new organization. And I'm just rambling on. This video is probably going to be like 20 minutes long, but I don't care. I love y'all. All right. Peace. And thank you again, Cody. This soda's fucking awesome.
Thank you. You love me. You really love me. You're not going